Hello everyone, let's discuss the problem distinct fun from Codechef starters 212. We are given an array A of length n and our task is to make all the elements of that array unique. Okay. To do so, they said that we can perform this operation where we'll be selecting a prefix array of length k and also an integer x and apply the bitwise XOR operation to all the elements in that prefix array. Okay. So for every A of I in the selected prefix array, perform bitwise XOR with x, right? This is what the problem statement says us. So let's take a look at this test case and let's try to understand what should be the output. Okay, so the duplicate elements in this array are these elements. Let's assume the index of the first three is I and the index of the second three is j. Okay, so what are the different possible sub arrays we can pick, or what are the different possible prefix arrays we can pick? One would be the value of k should be less than I. Okay, if we do so, let's assume that we select this prefix array. Okay, so we'll be performing the XOR operation with all the elements in this prefix array, but that will not change the values of these elements, right? So these elements remain unchanged, so we are not removing any duplicates, so this cannot be the value of k. Okay, so let's try picking a value of k which is greater than I. Okay, let's assume the value of k is 7. The sub array we'll be getting is this. Okay, so we'll be performing XOR with x, let's say, to all the elements of our array. If we do so, we are also performing XOR with 3. We are also performing the XOR operation with this 3 also, right? So we end up getting the same result again. Both of them will result to the same value. So there is no point in doing this also. This is also not a valid solution. So the only option we have is to select the value of k between I and j minus 1. Okay, in this way we'll be selecting only one of these duplicates, and we can now try to change the value of this duplicate to some other value by performing the XOR operation. Okay, so the best possible value of k would be j minus 1. Okay, this includes only one duplicate and also a few more elements from the array. So now let's try to understand what would be the best value of x to pick. Best value of x to pick. Okay, so when we are picking the value of x, we have to keep in mind that firstly the sub array which we select is this. This is the prefix array we selected. So whenever we are performing XOR operation, we have to keep in mind that we'll be performing XOR and on all the elements of this prefix array. Okay, not only on 3, but all the other elements like 2, 1, 4, 5 will also change, right? So we have to make sure that we don't generate a duplicate while performing the XOR operation. We should make sure that 4 does not become equal to any of these elements. 5 does not become equal to any of these elements, and so on, right? We only have to change the value of 3 and we have to make it unique. We can change the values of the other elements, but we have to make sure that we do not generate a duplicate, right? So what should be the best possible answer for x? Let's say I pick the value of x as 2 power 100. Okay, why 2 power 100? 2 power 100, if I pick x as 2 power 100, I can be 100% sure that there is no such element in my array which is greater than 2 power 100, right? So if I perform XOR operation with a value less than 2 power 100, let's say y, XOR 2 power 100. If y is smaller than 2 power 100, what will be the result? Y and 2 power 100 will not share any common bits, right? So the XOR operation will result in the addition of these numbers. Okay, so if I pick x as a greater number, as a very big number which is greater than all the elements in my array, I can be 100% sure that I'll not be generating any duplicates, right? That is because I'll just be adding them. Okay, so let's pick x as 2 power 100 and let's observe what array we will get. Okay, so let's select this sub array and let's perform XOR operation with 2 power 100 to each of these elements. The resultant array would look something like this. Okay, all the elements in that sub array will be added with 2 power 100 and the rest of the elements will remain the same. Okay, so doing this operation, we made sure that the value of 3 is now unique and all the elements will never be equal to any element in the array. That is because whenever we were picking x, we made sure that we picked the maximum possible value. Okay, so this question just asks us to count the number of operations, right? So we don't have to worry about the value of x, we don't have to worry about the value of k. The only thing we are interested in is the number of operations we'll need. The problem gives us the leverage to pick the value of x as big as we can. Okay, so there is no limit to the maximum value of x, we can pick it as anything. So once we use 2 power 100, if we find a duplicate somewhere in the right side of the array, this time we'll make use of 2 power 200 because 2 power 200 will be 100% greater than all the elements. If the next time we'll be finding a duplicate, we'll be using 2 power 300. Next time we'll be using 2 power 200, 2 power 400, so on, right? There is no limit to the value of x. We can keep increasing the value of x and we can keep generating unique values. Okay, so what would be the approach to solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? Let's take the same test case and let's try to understand how to solve this. Okay, so yeah, if this is the array given to us, we first have to keep track of the duplicate values. Okay, we have to decide whether we have a duplicate value or not. To do that, we'll take an empty set initially. Okay, when we access each element, we'll check if it is already present in the set. Okay, if we are at 2, we check if 2 is already present in the set. It is not, so we can be clear that 2 is not a duplicate. We'll add it to our set and we'll move to the next element. 1 is also not present, so it is not a duplicate. So I'll add 1 to my set and I'll move on. Similarly, I'll add all the elements until this 3. Okay, so let me do that. 3 will be added, 4, 5 will be added. Okay, when I come to this 3, I see that 3 is already present in my set. Okay, which means that 3 is a duplicate. Now I have to pick one prefix array and I have to perform XOR operation, making sure that I change the value of 3. Okay, we already decided that the value of k will be j minus 1. The value of x will be some very big value like 2 per 100 or something. Okay, but we don't worry about these values. We just say the number of operations which we performed so far are 1, and since we change the values of these elements when we perform the XOR operation, they will be very big and they will not be duplicate values, right? We are 100% sure of that. So we can now remove all these elements from this array because their values got changed. Their values are no longer the same. So we'll remove them from the set and we'll only keep this 3 in the set. Okay. Once we are done with 3, we'll move on. We'll go to 6. 6 is not present in the set, so we'll add it. We'll go to 7. 7 is not present in the set, so we add it. Now, let's assume that there is one more 6 here. Okay. So when we come to this element, we see that 6 is already present in the set. So what will we do? We just increment the number of operations. Once we do that, we are 100% sure that all the elements to the left of 6 are very huge in value. They are not duplicates. So we can just empty our set. We can remove all the elements because their values are not the same. And we'll just put 6 in the set and we'll continue the process. Okay. And at the end of the process, whatever is stored in the number of operations will be your answer. Thank you.